What's up, YouTube? I want to talk about Latifi getting the fight for UFC on Fuel TV #6 versus Gegard Mousasi. And have you ever heard of a guy like Latifi getting into a main event so fast? Hasn't happened in all of UFC. Usually there's two popular names in a main event. And this time, there's one that we've never heard of. Anyway, if you know what happened, Alexander Gustafsson got a cut and they called off the fight, so he's no longer fighting Gegard. And his teammate, Latifi, is stepping in. And if you don't know Latifi, you might. He's been on HDNet a bunch of times. You might have seen him fight Tony Lopez on HDNet. And he threw Tony Lopez around, but we saw a lot of weakness in his game in that fight. We saw him fight in the beginning of the fight with his hands down. We saw him slam Tony Lopez. But Tony Lopez, if you know him, he's kind of like a test dummy. I don't know if he's Indian or Spanish. He's Spanish, excuse me. But he's got that long Indian-looking ponytail. And he's just like a test dummy for these fighters. So Latifi made it past that fight. And I didn't really think he did a good job. Anyway, Latifi, he's a Swedish wrestler. And he's also been in K1. I don't think he's on the same level as Gegard Mousasi. I think he throws his hands around, really looking to brawl, and really got good ground and pound. I've seen him knock out a few guys, or one knockout I really remember was like an Albanian fight, and he just laid this guy out. I've seen him fight on YouTube a couple times. His fights are fun to watch, but I think he's going to get submitted by Gegard. Gegard's too good. And even though in the fight with Keith Jardine, he didn't live up to the hype, that happens. And Gegard's gonna beat this guy up right away. I think it's gonna be a first-round submission. That's just what I'm feeling. I think he's gonna get submitted right away. He's just gonna have to deal with the strength of Latifi, and then put him to rest. Latifi's never been submitted, but a guy fighting in Sweden, Albania, doing K1, and being a Swedish wrestler, to me, with the amount of fat on his body and the way he puts his hands down so fast, I don't think he's on the level of Gegard at all. So I think the betting people really have Gegard as a big favorite. I haven't looked yet, but just judging from Latifi's fights, and you could find a lot of them on YouTube. Like, he's only had about 9 fights, but you could find them all there, plus his K1 fights. So I would check him out. I would check out the Tony Lopez fight and the Manuel Newton fight. But we've seen him on HDNet and Shark fights. And this guy, he's fought all over the place in Glory and in King of the Cage. So Latifi has won a bunch in a row, lost to Manuel Newton. But Gegard should put the submission on pretty quick. Latifi's slow, sloppy, and just not slick like Gegard. So that's my feeling for this fight, guys. What do you think? Who do you think is going to win this fight? You think Gegard's going to win the fight? How and why? How do you think Gegard's going to win this fight? And what do you think about this fight? Do you think this was stupid that the UFC put this together? Do you think that they're trying to save money here after they found out that Alexander Gustafsson was not able to make the fight? Do you think